Weather warnings across UK as thousands remain without power. Parts of the UK are being warned to brace themselves for more bad weather as tens of thousands of homes remain without power. The Met Office has issued a yellow warning for snow and ice until Sunday, and flood alerts remain in place in Scotland as well as England and Wales. Nearly 20,000 are without power after high winds and gusts of more than 100 miles per hour cut lines and damaged networks. Engineers worked through the night to restore power. BBC Weather's John Hammond said, "The cold weather is flooding back in and we've seen quite a lot of snow, particularly on the higher ground in Scotland." He added that in Scotland and Northern Ireland, more snow would fall before turning back to rain. Monday we'll see more windy weather, he warned. Elsewhere across the UK, a body of a man found washed up on a beach in Brighton after he was swept out to sea as he tried to rescue a friend has been identified as Freddie Reynolds. Thousands of homes remain without power following the storms that have been battering Scotland. High winds have continued to hit the north of England, causing travel disruption and leaving nearly 900 properties without electricity. In Wales, 2,500 homes were affected by gales which caused damage and disruption to travel and power supplies. Brighton Sea Search. Emergency services in Brighton searched for the missing men until 4:30 GMT on Saturday. A lorry blown over in strong winds on the Clackmannanshire Bridge over the Firth of Forth. This lorry was blown over in strong winds on the Clackmannanshire Bridge over the Firth of Forth. Conditions across the Highlands and Islands have made it difficult for Scottish and Southern Energy, SSE, engineers, although supplies to 100,000 customers have been restored following the hurricane-force winds of up to 113 miles per hour on Friday. Alan Broadbent, SSE's Director of Engineering, said, "Our electricity network was battered continuously by hurricane winds for 8 hours on Thursday night and during much of Friday. This has weakened it in places, which caused more power cuts overnight. I know an apology may not be much comfort for our customers who have been without power, but I would like to reassure them that we are doing all we possibly can during extremely treacherous, challenging and severe weather conditions." Northern Power Grid engineers have dealt with problems affecting Northumberland, County Durham and Yorkshire. Jump Media Player help out of Media Player. Press enter to return or tab to continue. The strong winds and wet weather will continue into next week, as BBC Weather's John Hammond explains. Rural areas were the worst hit, especially around Dingwall and in Inverness Shire, the Western Isles and Skye. SSE and the Red Cross have welfare teams and catering units at key locations in Scotland, while reception centres are also being prepared to offer warmth and hot food to vulnerable people. 10,000 meals and 15,000 hot and cold drinks have been served since Friday. People are being urged to check vulnerable or elderly people to make sure they are safe until the current spell of poor weather clears. Shep technical staff at Balmaha near Loch Lomond. Fallen trees posed problems for SSE technical staff at Balmaha near Loch Lomond. Cancelled trains. The weather also caused problems with the trains, with ScotRail reporting a dozen route issues on Saturday, particularly on northern and coastal services. A number of train services have been suspended. Some services from Inverness to the north and Kyle of Lochulch will not resume until after further inspections on Sunday. A normal service between Glasgow and Oban, Fort William and Mallaig is expected to resume on Sunday. Services through Motherwell had been diverted on Saturday, but they are now running again after repairs were made to overhead wires. Flooding at Kingassy means that services between Perth and Inverness are not running, and there will be further inspections on Sunday. Trains are also suspended between Paisley Canal and Glasgow. Network Rail had been due to carry out planned engineering improvements on all Ayrshire routes over the weekend, except between Glasgow Central and Kilmarnock. ScotRail says it was planning to run buses to limit the impact. There are also warnings on Scotland's road bridges and some ferry services have been cancelled. Ferry operator Caledonian McBrain has listed about 24 services facing weather-related disruption or cancellation.